Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you in the studios, talking a little real estate. It's always a great time. And it's a weekend, so what could be better? It's always better to start your weekend with Real Estate with Ryan. And we've got a great show for you. It's been a minute, out on a little vacation, July 4th. Hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. As a lot of you, it wasn't long enough. I know that's the case. And so enjoyed time with the kiddos, little fireworks, and I hope you guys did as well. Hard to believe that July is heating up, and in a blink of an eye, kids will be back to school. And you know it's football time in East Tennessee, and so it's going quick. I don't know about you guys. Is your summer moving rapidly? It is, but I do hope you enjoy it. And the real estate market is picking up, and we got some new congrats. We're going to start. We've got an amazing show. How we started this show, we have a lot of questions out there, and I searched the internet a little bit as well to see what are the top topics that consumers are asking in 2024. What are the top questions, the biggest questions they're asking real estate agents today? And we're going to cover those. We've got about 15 of those. We're going to try to get through all those in the first and second half of the show. And they cover a wide range of topics. So you're going to make sure you want to tune in. Stay listening with us. We've got some great questions that you may be wanting answered in your real estate market now. So let's see here. Let's go. What we've got in. Got some new congrats. Got some new listings. A lot of things that are going on. All right. New listing out on 4265 South Boogertown Road in Sevierville. Listed on the market. Before we could talk about it, saying active, it was sold under contract. Congrats to those great sellers. New listing in Farragut coming on 624 Waterford Drive in Knoxville. New listing there. Congrats on Wood Park Lane, new commercial property on the market just for a short period of time over in West Knoxville, under contract. Congrats. 417 Ridgecrest Road in Luttrell, under contract. Congrats. New closings, Gap Creek Road in Elizabethton, Tennessee. Congrats. Diedrich Avenue in Knoxville. Congrats. Orchard Creek Lane in Knoxville. Congrats. Wolfenberger Road in Luttrell, the great sellers there. What a deal with that one. That was probably one of those real estate stories we can talk about. But had a good ending, so that was good for them. And then, of course, 1877 Hidden Deer in Knoxville. Congrats. And 2312 Don's Pass in Knoxville. That sold really, really quickly. And one of that was with our colleagues, one of the agents. You know, is that amazing? I guess you're doing something right in the marketplace. Had a fellow agent that's an investor. They work together as a team. And we had an opportunity to work with them and one of our colleagues, and they weren't getting the right marketing teamwork, and they brought us in, and we worked together, and we got that one sold. And so super congrats for those sellers, and always appreciate the teamwork. In today's marketplace and the real estate market as a whole, it's all about teamwork. And as the market changes ever so much here in the East Tennessee market, it's all about marketing and hiring the right agent. That's why we do this show every week. You may say, well, Ryan, how do you know you're the right agent? I don't know. I mean, maybe that's for you to decide. That's why we do this show. And I think this show is good because you get an opportunity that there's a lot of people out there that you have to choose from, and we want to make it easy for you. And so you get a kind of idea of how we are on the radio. What we do is what we bring value to, and if that works for you, we'd always love to interview for the job. We've got some good tools for you before we start the show, and I think it's so imperative now that you start looking at homes values as some areas as East Tennessee are changing. Interest rates are expected to have an adjustment, but we won't hold our breath on that, right? You know, the Feds have been talking about that for a while, but we do know it's an election year, and it's more than likely going to happen. What impact will it have in the East Tennessee market? We won't know. But obviously, if you're thinking about purchasing, now is a great opportunity for a buyer. Seller inventory is still really, really low, and so we have all kinds of opportunities there in the marketplace that is moving rapidly. Not to mention, just listed one in Farragut. So if you have kids in school, there's still a lot of movement. I think I was looking at Facebook just the other day, and I just glanced real quickly, but a Register of Deeds mentioned that in end of June had record closings that they were recording for deeds. So a lot of sales going on, a lot of things moving. Some properties are having issues selling, and we'll cover some of those questions of what you could do with these questions that are the top questions if you're thinking about buying or selling in 24, what they're asking. So let's get right into it, dive right into the show. Number one question, is now a good time to sell? And that's obviously a loaded question. I just had a young lady that we were chatting a little bit about her property in the Sevierville market. And it was kind of those pain and gain stories. And she bought a short-term rental. And she's actually a writer, so kind of pretty cool deal. And she has a couple properties, not a lot. But, like anything, it has its season. Numbers aren't getting exactly where they want to be for this short-term rental, and she's looking to sell. Didn't sell the first time on the market, and we were kind of talking about that and what we could do and different strategy and game plan. But she said, Ryan, which I thought was really, it hit home because I can relate to her. She said, Ryan, I'm really not wanting to pay for somebody else's vacation. What do you mean? She's like, well, if I'm not making any money, I'm paying for them to vacation and call me in the middle of the night to let me know that the light bulb was out. I was like, that's a really good observation there. So is now a good time to sell? And one of the biggest questions we ask every seller is, why are you doing what you're doing? What's important about this move? And for her, it's sanity, right? And real estate's one of the best investments you can make. And there's different types of investment: commercial, short-term, wholesaling, flipping, long-term rentals, building, just land acquisition. There's just a lot of different things. And just because a short-term rental at that point is maybe not doing exactly where you want to be, it's okay. You can rediversify and kind of get into something else and kind of transition into a new asset. So that's an opportunity. So it's now a good time to sell is relative to where you are at in the marketplace. Inventory is still relatively low. So we know that's a good opportunity for sellers. And if you're going to sell when there's good competition in the marketplace, obviously that's advantage for you. Now, obviously there's some challenges in the marketplace, meaning some of the prices are still high. Interest rates are high, and there's a challenge. So affordability is still across the board, across the U.S., one of the biggest things that we're dealing with. But in a competitive market, obviously it's an opportunity for a seller. As we see things change to some degree, we're seeing buyers have more opportunities. Buyers have opportunity to actually get to the property. We're seeing contingency some. I got 2 yesterday. We turned them down, but we're seeing some contingent offers. Contingent on, some of them not even having the house on the market. Not sure that's the right strategy moving forward, but we have some of those contingencies. Sellers need to be open to different ideas that we were 2 years ago. So just seeing where we're at and get with a great agent or consult with your agent if you're listed, and what is the right strategy for that. Obviously, we encourage people to kind of start that process, and what I was saying early part of the show was you need to know your home's value. We preach that all year, but now in a changing market, you need to know it quicker. And you can text our office. You don't have to talk to us. You don't have to stress. No worries. Won't bother you. But if you're not in the process of moving right this second, but you kind of want to know a value for this year or next couple months, or if I do sell, Ryan, maybe I'll call you and we'll have a little more conversation. You can text us at any time, and I'll give you this number. So if you got a pen or you got a good memory, it's 865-290-2290. So all you got to do is text this number. It's simple. One more time, 865-290-2290. And we'll text, our team will get your text. Just send us your address and any information you want about it. We'll respond, give you a home evaluation, give you instant valuation, kind of a snapshot of where we're at today. So many of those websites are all over the board. And these are done by us. It's not outsourced to anybody else. And we're going to give you a real value and a real estimation sight unseen. Obviously, if there's something complex there, we really need to see it, that we could do that as well. But you want to start with an assessment of the market value. You want to see where you're at cash-wise. Does it make sense to sell it now? We can start that process at any time. Obviously, you can call the office at any time, and we can have that one-on-one consultation, and it's always better to see it in person. But if you want to start that process early, you're unsure, make sure you take us up on that value. It doesn't cost anything, and we've had a lot of people that we've helped over the process with that. All right, number 3, what are some things I need to do to get my house ready for sale? Such a great question. It really comes down to having your home in the best position. 87% of people are going to start their search online. So knowing that, staging, preparing your home for sale, having that great curb appeal is everything. And obviously, one of the biggest things is got to get rid of all the clutter, a lot of personal items, things like that. We encourage renting a storage unit, junk be gone, things like that. It happens, right? Deep clean, if you have pets, things like that. Very, very important that we get to a position that we're able to have it ready so the new buyer can see what they have. Curb appeals, everything as we're in the summer, fresh mulch, those things, lighting, all bring value to having your property where you need to be. Of course, professionally marketed, and that so much goes into having that curb appeal online. Getting ready to come in here the second half of Real Estate with Ryan. We'll go over the rest of these questions and so much more in the second half. Stay with us. Real Estate with Ryan, second half, coming up next.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, Real Estate with Ryan, second half. Thank you for staying tuned. We're talking some of the top questions that buyers and sellers are asking in 2024. So I wanted to go over those with you. I thought they were only appropriate as we're a little bit over halfway through the year. And some really good questions that are very common that may fit to your needs if you're thinking about buying or selling, or maybe you know a friend or family member that is. Love to help them. Before we get going, let's start with our 60-second vol update. Let me get going here and see. So much news going on. It's that time of the year where, I want to bring everything up. I'll go by memory here. Nothing as quick as online that we need. All right, 60-second vol update. Drum roll, please. We know the baseball team is off to fire. We got 2 new recruits. And then I also saw that we got some great new recruits out the portal. So Tony V doing an amazing job out there. Football team is in tip-top shape, an amazing year. Looking for big things there. I think they said it's 4 or 5 weeks to football time in East Tennessee. It's up there. Maybe it's 6 weeks, but it's not far. And you guys make sure you follow our channels. One of the biggest things we do is football time in East Tennessee. And nothing has changed. We're going to send you, friends, family to the game. Parking pass, we've got you covered. Got some new things coming too, some new advertisements. You're going to love it. So much more. Follow our channels, Hometown Realty, like our pages, subscribe. That's all you got to do. And then new advertisements will be out for you to like and share. Send you to the ball game. Go Big Orange. All right, that's our 60-second Vol update. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. So much going on. We love this time of the year, but our team is never... it's never a dull moment over here. Very, very busy. We go into summer, busy with real estate, and then we're busy all the way through the year. And guess what? It's football time. Nothing great. Nothing greater than football time in East Tennessee, fall weather, and then it's basketball time. I mean, it's just, and then, it's baseball. So it's all year round here. It's great to be a Vol. A lot of big things happening in Big Orange Nation, and some exciting times. So excited for our program and all that's going on. And thank all you that maybe you're not a Vol supporter. It's okay. It's okay. I always tell everybody that relocates here, if they come from another town, and they may not be a Big Orange fan yet, but we're going to turn them into Big Orange Nation. I said, you've got to get some orange. You got to get some orange. And, a lot of people that weren't, They get into it. I saw some neighbors the other day. I'm pretty sure that I didn't see them with a Vol hat, but was walking through the neighborhood, had the Vol hat on. So I was excited to see that. So it's always good things. And I tell you, some of the best fans in the country are here in East Tennessee, and we couldn't be happier to have some of you guys as our clients and working with. And so if there's anything in the world we can do for you, buying, selling, send you to the game, whatever we can do, we've always got your back. All right, let's get back into the show. Talking about an inspection. Should I get an inspection, Ryan, before listing my house? That's a good question. A lot of people would recommend ordering an inspection. I think it's always a positive thing, but be very, very careful about ordering an inspection, because an inspection as a whole ultimately puts you in a position where if something's wrong, you got to fix it. And then in our market, or just probably most all markets, if you know of something wrong, you got to disclose that on our property disclosure and things like that. So that is very important. It is very, very helpful. One of the things a home inspection can do is if there's something wrong, we're not last minute 2 weeks. We just lost 2 deals similar to this where there's a roof that's needed and should have been addressed on the front end, or somebody should have looked at it. And now, going into that factor where 2 contracts later, we probably should have addressed that on the front end. So sellers, make sure if we know something's wrong, we're so much better to handle it on the front end until we get a buyer involved. And in this market that's a little volatile, the buyers get nervous, and sign of a roof, sign of fungus or moisture or anything that's a big ticket item. If the buyer was already nervous by watching a little bit too much news and interest rates and things like that, that may just be enough to push them over the edge and the deal fall through. So I would encourage a inspection on the major items. I would not recommend an inspection on the whole house. It's too much. You got too many items. You're not going to go fix everything in the whole house. Focus on your big items: heating, cooling, plumbing, roof, crawl space, any kind of moisture, water penetration, things like that. Hit those items, and we can do those for relatively about $100, $150. Well worth the money, and we're well prepared on the front end to take care of that. Ryan, how long do you think it will take for my home to sell? I just had this question, and a lot of that's timing in the real estate market, right? A lot of that's comes down to seasonality. What kind of property? Is it a vacation property? Is it a residence? Is it a condo? Is it land? So there's so many moving factors. Really comes down to specifics. Real estate is always location, right? They say location, location, location. So if you're in a really, really hot area, things may move overnight. Maybe a rural area, and they may also move overnight. Just depends. The biggest determining factor your home will sell. In February of 2023, they said the average median day was 67 days on the market, right? So obviously, could be between 3 and 6 months, but our market is looking about a little bit under 30 days to 40 days in that time frame on an average, right? But it depends, though. It depends on your pricing. So a lot of things where we have sellers in today's market, obviously, sometimes we want to price it where we want to be, a certain number. So if we price it a little bit more aggressively, that may carry more days on the market. So those are just things to think about. But on a whole, our sales prices are pretty consistent, and days on market are across the country relatively low. Ryan, what is the initial steps in purchasing a home? It's a really great question. I think as a lot of first-time buyers or move-up buyers, even luxury buyers, a lot that we deal with is starting with the lender. What you thought the interest rates were, and when you start factoring in the prices and everything like that, it may start pushing your budget. So number one step is get with a great agent in the marketplace that's going to help you walk you through this process. I think if you're coming from out of state, it's a must. Don't even think twice about it. You don't know the area, or maybe you know the area somewhat, but you need that partner in crime, as I would say, to kind of help you with the teamwork. They know the area. Real estate agent is your number one choice in a marketplace, whether you know it or not. It's time, energy, money, brainstorming on where you need to be, strategizing on offers, inspections, things you need to do. A good agent in the marketplace has your back. So that's number one thing. Number two will be that referral with a great lender in the marketplace that has great service, that picks up the phone. We take that for granted, but you're making such a big purchase, sometimes you can talk and text and email, but I'm a person, I'm old school. I like to get on the phone and kind of talk things out. I want to make sure that, text is appropriate, email is appropriate, but if I've got some concerns, especially a big mortgage for my family, I want to make sure I'm comfortable with it. And where are we going with the rates? Are we going We're going to do a buy down, or we're going to float. Hey, I hear the rates may be changing. Shall I lock? All these things are so imperative that you need to get with the lender on the front end. Get pre-approved, know exactly how much your mortgage is, payment, taxes, and everything like that. And so when you make that offer and you find that dream home, we're not scrambling to see if we can get a lender letter. Let me tell you, the number one thing that will hurt your offer in today's marketplace is not having a lender letter ready. So many agents I see that will make an offer, and they don't have the lender letter, or they don't have the information, or it's a out-of-state lender that maybe doesn't know our marketplace. I promise you, make sure you have a strong pre-approval. It is your best negotiating in today's marketplace. It really is. It really is. What do you do if my offer is turned down? It happens, right? In today's market, the offer is turned down. Change your offer. Boost it. Possibly talk about revising it. Increase escrow money. Nobody talks about that, but the stronger the escrow, anybody that's bought and sold a lot of real estate, the stronger the escrow, the stronger the deal. Maybe make it non-refundable. You got those options, right? Hey, you're serious. Mr. Buyer is serious. Mr. Seller, this is a great buyer right here. And then ultimately keep searching if you're not finding the right property. All those things kind of come in. How am I going to get paid? How the agents get paid? Well, in today's marketplace, things are changing in August. Obviously, compensation will not be listed, but sellers still paying. Nothing's changing. Sellers are still paying some commission. And buyers, you will determine when you hire your agent to make sure how you'll get paid. Usually that's going to be factored into the deal. Worst case, the buyer will pay it. But all that's negotiating on the front end. That's why I really encourage getting with a great agent, having that consultation on the front end before you start that process. Let's see. We're going here quickly into the show. We got 8 seconds. Well, we got covered a lot, and as you know, we get going. Hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Look forward to seeing you guys back next weekend. Have an amazing weekend.